Hello everybody, AJ Ryzik here, and today we are taking a look at Elementary OS 0.4 Loki. And, looking around here, very nice looking OS. So continue watching if you want to see how well this bad boy performs. So let's start out the review by visiting the Elementary OS homepage, and that's what we've got over here. And this is where you want to go if you want to download this operating system and give it a shot. And right off the bat, here's kind of something that has torqued off a few, more than a few Linux users, and it's the fact that they've got this set up so that you can, whether you want to call it pay, call it a donation, whatever, uh, for getting the operating system. Now, they've got it set up. You can give them $5, $10, $25 or pick a custom amount, and the custom amount can be zero. So yes, you can go and pay zero for this. And kind of, just my personal opinion on that. I don't think it's asking too much. If you're going to make this as your main OS for your computer, it's not asking a whole lot for you to throw a few dollars at the project to help with, maintaining the servers, keeping the website up and running, the development, all that kind of stuff. Not every distribution out there has a big corporate sponsor. Ubuntu, they've got Canonical that is paying the bills, or at least for the most part. So not every distribution has that, and development costs money. That's just the simple fact of it. And like I said, there's lots of Linux users out there that they will not touch something that they have to pay a dime for it. It's like, you know, personally, me, if I'm going to use this as my main distro, I'm more than happy to throw a few dollars at the project. But anyway, getting past that, let's go to I'll go to the elementary blog and talks a little bit about the release. Now, if you are not familiar with elementary OS, it is based on Ubuntu. So this newest release of elementary OS is based on Ubuntu 16.04. So you get all the stuff that comes in the Ubuntu 16.04 repository. So you got access to LibreOffice 5.2 and all the software that's in that repository. But on top of all the Ubuntu stuff, they've got a whole bunch of new stuff that they've added, and this little blog post talks about it. They've got new indicators, audio improvement, network stuff, Bluetooth, power. I'm not going to go through the whole blog post. I will leave you a link if you want to go and take a look at it, because we're going to take a little tour of the desktop and what I think and all that kind of stuff. So no real reason to go through the entire blog post, but I'll leave you a link if you want to go and take a look at it. So let me get that out of the way, and we will get our review started here. So taking a look at the desktop here, the desktop environment, by the way, is known as Pantheon. It is written from scratch. I believe Vala is the programming language that it is written in. So it's not a fork of Gnome or anything like that. It's its own creation. And we'll just kind of walk through the desktop here real quick. Over here in the top corner, we've got, if you go and click on applications, you've got, and the default view is kind of a graphical image based menu, and you can see I've got essentially 2 pages of stuff listed right now. You can go up here and switch the view so that you've got a more traditional category based, and you do have a search function. So like, let's say I'm looking at a GVC view, boom, it pulls it right up for you. I have noticed though a few times when I've opened the menu and clicked on the search, it glitched up and just kind of froze up, and I'd have to close applications and then open back up again. Once I opened it back up again, everything was fine again. So not quite sure what that was all about. And there's not a whole lot of software installed by default. Got kind of some basics, your calendar, calculator, your web browser, mail, terminal, kind of the basics, but not a ton of stuff. But yeah, at least myself, I personally prefer that. I would rather go and have a just bare bones installation, be able to pick and choose what I want installed myself. I know a lot of people do like, that every piece of software known to mankind is installed by default. Personally, I like to go and pick and choose myself. So anyway, we've got our applications menu there. Here in the center, we've got our time and date. If you click on it, a little drop down calendar will come down. And then over on this right hand side, and you can see I'm missing an icon here, and that is for Dropbox. And I was kind of surprised that you can install Dropbox, use Dropbox, but really the icon and the drop downs really do not work. So I was kind of surprised on that one, because Dropbox is it's pretty common. A lot of people use it. So I was kind of scratching my head. Why don't we have an icon for Dropbox? Or and you can see the drop down menu for Dropbox really isn't working either. So next to that is the little icon that shows that my simple screen recorder is running, and then we've got our volume, and let me click on that. You can see the drop downs, now that you can see that they're working. Very nice looking. And so we got the drop down here for our volume, and you can control your music player right from here and go to sound settings if you need to. And then right next to that, got our network. And once again, you can go to network settings, notifications, and then our power button. You can see who's logged in. If you want to log in as a guest, log out, suspend, shut down, all that kind of stuff. So we got all that going on, and then down at the bottom we have our dock, and I believe I'm pretty sure it's Plank Dock that we're using here. And as far as the dock applications go, it's probably one of the best one out there. Not a ton of features, but it's got it's got the basics. The basics are covered. And actually, if you go into system settings, let me drag it over here, system settings, and go to desktop. From there, you can go and change around your desktop wallpapers. But talking about the dock, you can play around with your dock settings from here. You can go with a normal or a large size on the icons. Some behavior there. So if you're a person like me who does not like docks and wants it out of the way, you can go to not being used, get it out of the way. Which display do you want? This is mainly for people like me that are on multiple monitors. Do you want on the primary display? Which display do you want it on? All that kind of stuff. So while we're on system settings, I'll just point out you can go and tweak your hot corners here. Right now, I don't have anything set up, but you can go and set up various commands. If you want to go to your multitasking view, set one of your corners for that. Application menus, all that kind of stuff. And just kind of going back to the wallpapers, one thing that I've always liked about Elementary OS is they have got some awesome wallpapers, and you can see looking here, every one of them just beautiful landscapes and some nice close-ups, and every one of their wallpapers is very nice to look at. While I've got system settings open, let's talk a little bit about that, because there's been a lot of work within system settings. One of the things is that it is now keyword searchable. So you got up here where it says search settings, you can put in a keyword, do a little search. And then a lot of these other categories have been tweaked and worked on and whatnot. One of the cool things they got going on now is they got a sharing for media library. So I've got it turned off right now, but you can go and turn it on, and you can pick your various music, video, photo folders, all that kind of stuff, and you can stream to other devices. So very nice on being able to share with that. And they now have this is the first time they've had an online account integration, and at least for myself, the only thing I've done so far is integrate my Gmail. And I believe they also have integration for fast mail available right now. And from what I was reading on the elementary blog, there will be more integrations coming down the pike as time goes on. But at least from what I've seen so far, what they've got available in online accounts, it works and it works just fine. So no issues there. Also, while I'm on the subject of things that worked without issues, no problems with setting up my HP printer. Just followed the little directions there, and boom, set up, no problem. Mouse and touchpad configuration has been reworked. It seems to work very well. I mean, I haven't tried. I don't have this installed on my laptop, so I really can't tell you about how it works with a touchpad. But as far as making little tweaks to the mouse, works just fine. And of course, we already talked about the desktop settings. Under applications, from here you can go and not only pick your default web browser, email, calendar, all that kind of stuff, but also add your startup applications. While I'm thinking of it, because they've got web browser listed here, you can see that web browser listed is Epiphany. And coming down here, if you hover over this little icon, it's the Epiphany web browser. And when I've had the browser open and running, it's the Epiphany web browser. However, this is the icon that has traditionally been used for Midori. Now, maybe it's not a big deal, and probably most I don't want to just say new users, but a lot of people, it's just going to be, okay, so what, no big deal. For a person like me, it's like, okay, why didn't you go and create a new icon for Epiphany as opposed to just continuing to use the one from Midori? It just seems like it was a little, I don't know, we didn't finish the job, that sort of thing. Well, let's take a look at a few of their homegrown applications here, because there's quite a lot here that they have. It's either a fork of some other application or completely from scratch. And probably the first thing I want to look at is their mail application. They simply call it Mail. Um, those of you who remember the Geary email application, it is a fork of Geary. And I like what they've done here. They've kind of the overlying principles of elementary OS is trying to keep things simple and easy to use, and they definitely got that going on here. It's a very simple interface to work with. Now, if you are somebody that wants to have a ton of options, this is not your email application. Go and download Thunderbird and run that. You will not be happy with this application if you want tons of options. But you got the basics covered here. You can add multiple email accounts. You got over on the left hand side, you've got your different folders and whatnot, and then you've got a view that shows all of your emails in that particular folder, and then over on the far side, it shows a preview of that particular email. From what I've been seeing as I've been playing around with it the past week or so, it seems to run well, fairly fast. Really, no issues with it. So, like I said, the only thing that's going to be an issue is if you are somebody that needs a lot of features. This is not your email application. But for basic email, this is great. Another one I want to take a look at is the calendar, and let me pull it up here. And because I've been playing around with it the past week or so. Oops, it looks like it crashed on me. Well, that's new. This is the first time that I've had it crash, so I guess we won't be looking at the calendar application. Let's take a quick look at their file manager, and it's pretty basic bare bones file manager. One thing though that I really did like seeing is these multiple views that you have available. So you've got this, I guess you call it typical icon view, where it shows the folders, and whatever you hover over, you can see the little checkbox and a little color change. So that's nice. Um, but so you've got that view. You've got the traditional multi-column view, I guess you can consider it. And then this final, what did they call it? The list view is what they called that. And then they got this final column view, which I thought was really neat once I got playing around with it. In that, well, let's just, right now we're in the home folder. So we'll go down to the videos, which is inside of the home folder. Double click on that, and you see that it opens up the videos and creates a new column for that. And now you can see everything that is inside of that particular column. Let's take a quick look at. You can see I really, real quickly opened up one of my little video chunks that I've been doing for this review. But then if you come over up here to this webcam folder, we'll double click on that, and I don't have anything in there, but if it was a folder, you would be able to show everything that's in the folder, and it'll just continue on moving over and over and over. I'm not quite sure if it's got a limit on it, on how many columns it'll create, but it just keeps moving over and over. Depending on on the workflow you do, you may really like that view. Let me close that up. And kind of the final application I'd like to take a look at is their software center, or they're calling it an app center. Now at first, when I first opened this up, I thought that this was Gnome software, but from what I've been reading, it's their own creation. I don't think it's a fork. I think it's from scratch. And kind of playing around with it. Really nice piece of software here. And you can also do your updates from here. So if you go and click on updates, it'll show you everything that's updated. It'll list anything that needs to be updated. So very nice there. You're categorized. And just simply dig through here, find what it is that you want to add. This is all accessories. Here's the cherry tree, which is a note-taking application. You get a nice view right there, a little bit of a description. The only thing I've been noticing, I haven't seen any that have like reviews on it, so that that's something that not too big of a deal for me. Because I've been playing around with the Linux ecosystem for a while and know most of the applications that are out there. But for a lot of new users, having some reviews on there probably would be nice. And in that kind of case, sticking with the Ubuntu Software Center, Gnome software, that sort of thing, and having access to all the reviews that are listed on there, in some ways that might have been a good thing. But I do like this application. Seems to work fairly well. You saw how I was able to find stuff. Just click install, put in your password, and it does its thing. You got a little search up here, so if you want to search, you can do that, or you can kind of browse like I was just doing. Now, one of the issues that I have had with Elementary OS Loki, and the developers are probably going to say that this is a feature, not an issue, is that you cannot install additional software repositories or install .deb files by default. The software packages needed to do that are not installed by default. Now, they are in the included repositories, so you can go and download those, but by default it's not included. Now, from what I was reading, the reasoning behind it is for a safety issue, that new users are not going to go and add a repository that could screw things up or cause security issues. Same thing with installing deb files that they either don't understand what it is or whatever. To To me, I was trying to think of, I was thinking about the reasoning over the past few days, and just me, that's pretty much a stretch. I think that part of getting down to learning Linux is going to be learning how to deal with that stuff, learning how to go and vet, hey, is this a good repository I can use? Is this a reliable source where I'm getting this dev file? That's just my personal take on it. But kind of going back to it, you can go and install the stuff that is needed so that you can do that. And let me look at my notes here. So that you can add PPAs, you need to add software-properties-common, and then when it comes to deb files, you can install like gdebi. That's probably, I think, the best way to go and install the deb files. Now, there's a lot of things on the desktop that you don't have control of, like setting fonts and stuff like that. Yeah, you can go and it's not that you can't go and change those. There's not an easy way to do that. Now, there is a third-party tool out there called Elementary Tweaks. Personally, I highly recommend installing it, and in fact, we're going to install that now just so you can take a look at it. So let's open the terminal. Let me make it a little bit bigger so you can see what I'm doing here. And let me go, and I'm just going to copy from my notes over here. Yes, paste anyway. And that is one of the, at least for me, one of the irritating things about copying and pasting into the terminal here is you get that pop-up message. I realize that it's there to as like a safeguard for new users. To me, it is freaking annoying. So anyway, let's add this PPA. And like I said earlier, you need to have installed that software properties common before you can add a PPA. So if you haven't installed that already, you're going to need that first. Okay, so we got that, and then we need sudo app get update. Okay, and now sudo apt get install and elementary tweaks. Alright, so 0 upgraded, 5 newly installed, and here we go. Click a yes and let the terminal do its thing. Okay, that is done. Well, this is what I was talking about the search function glitching up. I'm trying to do the backspace and it's not doing it. I think that the tweaks can be accessed through the system settings. Let me take a look here. There you go, tweaks right there in the system settings. So you can see here under appearance, you can go and change your GTK themes, icons, cursor, go with the dark variant, your window layout, show the menu. Now, one thing that I have noticed on Elementary is you really got to be careful with the theming. In that I've had problems with previous versions of Elementary where you try a new theme and it just it does not work just because it works for Ubuntu or one of the say Ubuntu Gnome, that sort of thing, doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work here. My suggestion was, if you're looking for some different theming, go to, I don't know, maybe the Google Plus elementary group, or there's other groups out there, and see what other people are doing as far as theming goes. I was perfectly happy with the theme that we've got here, but I know a lot of people like to go and will want to go and tweak the looks there. But anyway, so there's appearance. You can go and change your fonts here, play around with the animation speeds, that sort of thing. Under miscellaneous, set your maximum volume, and then a couple other settings that you can play around with here. So I highly recommend installing this if you are going to make Elementary OS your main OS, or at least if you want anything different than the default look. Unfortunately, performance-wise, I have had a lot of problems with this distribution. You already saw the issue that I had with the calendar app, and that was actually the first time that I had that with the calendar app, which is kind of a bummer because up until now it's been working great. Sync was nice. I was able to sync with Google Calendar. So what happened there, I don't know, but I have had all kinds of trouble with webcam. The default webcam tool, I was able to take still pictures with it, but could not do any video, so I installed GUVC View, which is what you are looking at right here. And once again, I was able to take pictures, but not able to actually record. So all you're doing, all you see here, this is not like a separate recording for GUC View. All I have done is pull the display for that webcam app and put it on my desktop so that you can see it. Normally, at least recently, what I have been doing is I've been doing essentially two recording streams when I am recording video. I'm recording with Simple Screen Recorder, which is recording the desktop, recording with GUVC View, which is recording recording the webcam view. And by doing that, once I go into my video editor, which I use Kdenlive, once you go into the video editor, there's all kinds of neat stuff that you can do. It gives you a lot more flexibility than just doing what I'm doing here. But anyway, could not get GUVC View to record video. I installed Cheese, another webcam app. Could not get it to record video. I got two different webcams here that I can use. I tried using my older webcam, thinking, well, maybe it's a kernel issue. There's not an the kernel, maybe it needs it doesn't have new enough drivers or whatever. Even my older webcam, which is that webcam came out like 7-8 years ago, it wouldn't record video either. So I don't know what that issue is. So I've had that. I've had a lot of crashes on my system, a lot of applications crashing. So performance-wise, I've really been bummed out with this distribution and not been happy. So my overall impressions of Loki, well, I think they got a lot of great things going on, but it almost feels like it is an unfinished operating system. All of the crashes that I've been having, there's that, there's the Epiphany Midori icon thing. Maybe that was done on purpose. I don't know, but to me that's an issue. The Dropbox issue. Tons of people use Dropbox, so why a Dropbox icon and Dropbox integration is not included? Just kind of looking at all these things, and none of them by themselves are really big issues, but when you keep looking at tons and tons of these little issues, like I said, it feels like this is beta software and it's unfinished. And really, back when I first got started on really seriously using Linux, I used one of the earlier versions of Elementary for a long time. Really happy with it, and so it's kind of a bummer for me to see that this one just really is not performing like I'd like to see it. So hopefully there'll be some patches that come down the road soon that are going to fix some of these issues, because I think they got a really good thing going here. It's just like I said, it's almost like it's unfinished. So anyway, having said all that, I think that about finishes this review up. As always, leave comments, questions, all that kind of stuff down below. I try to get to it as soon as possible. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. And if you enjoyed the video, please share it on every known piece of social media known to mankind, so we can spread the word about the channel. And I hope to see you all on my next video. Thanks a lot.